Our first speaker is Bronwyn from Clearwater.
Hey everybody, my name's Robin. I'm an alcoholic, and yes, I am from Clearwater, but my home group is in Dunedin, and it's the Serenity Seekers, and it meets a lot. Fridays, Saturdays, and Tuesdays, and I see some of my home group members and people that I recognize, and I thank Barbara very much for asking me to qualify tonight. Let's see, my sobriety date is February 26th, and if I make it that far, I will have 7 years of sobriety. That's after having 14 years of sobriety and going out and experimenting. La la la. In my case, it was very, I don't recommend it. I hate to say it, but it was, for me, it was very good. I got what I needed. Finally got the program. I learned the steps. I learned how to live the steps. I listened. I looked. I didn't look at what people were wearing. You know, that's, to me, it was like a fashion show for 14 years. That's not cool. You know. It was a social outlet. I didn't get it. I never heard the promises until I moved to Florida. Okay, I'm from Massachusetts, and I never heard them. Never heard them, and I finally did, and they've come true. A lot of them come true. I worked the steps to the best of my ability. And oh, by the way, I was not told that everyone dresses up and looks so beautiful around here. Right? And I also wasn't told that it was so freaking far from where I live. Oh my God. I will be taking a nap in the back seat on the way home, honey. Very, very true. Anyway, I'm sorry. Back to alcoholism. It's a disease. It's a hard one. I find lately that living in sobriety is difficult, but being drunk is harder. I am so grateful I'm sober today. Excuse me as I take off my clothes. I'm usually very cold too. I don't know. Anyway, I want to stay in the solution. I'm not always good at that. I have my problems, I have issues, I have, the everyday things, but I don't have to drink today. I don't, that's the last thing. And it might sound really stupid to people, but I get nauseous at the thought of drinking alcohol. Like right now even. It's disgusting to me. It's just disgusting. And I stopped smoking on Martin Luther King Day. One day at a time. No promises. That also makes me nauseous, so I hope that continues. I don't know, I guess that's God's way of telling me that these things are horrible for me. It's a no-brainer. It's just a no-brainer, I do things, people say to me, Bronwyn, why are you an alcoholic? Why do you think you're a drunk? I don't think you were a drunk. You never drank all that much. You never Yeah, go up a one-way street, drive a limo with 12 people drunk and pass out, do that. That's not normal. But I say to them, I am an alcoholic, I believe, because When I drink, I do things I would never do sober. That makes me a drunk, as far as I'm concerned. My time's up. Not yet? Oh, okay, let's see. How many more minutes? Two more, oh, you're supposed to give me the mark. Oh, okay. Anyway, okay, I'll keep on talking. Let's see. In sobriety, I have found a man in my life. I did not come here to get married at all. I came from Massachusetts by myself with my cat to get away from the cold. I was actually going to bring another person down here with me, and probably a month before we were to leave, I walked out into my living room, and he was shooting heroin. And I said, "What's that?" And he said, "It's heroin. I'm not going to Florida with you." And I said, "Are you sure not?" And thank God he didn't, because where would I be today? So I packed up my car and I left. And thank God, I mean, I have friends down here. My friend of 40 years. Lives here. My mom lives here, or has a house here. She comes here often. And so I had a really good support group. And I actually had met a lot of them before I actually moved here. So, because I had come down to visit. And so I love AA here. When I first got here, I went to sleep over in all the rooms, you know. I was living at my mom's house. I didn't have an apartment yet. So I thought, well, I love this place so much. I'm just going to sleep over there in that corner till the next meeting, you know, because I really loved it here. I felt very, very welcome. And that's not what it was like for me before. So, am I done? Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Boosh. What are you doing, the tradition? Chris will now read the traditions.
Thanks, Brian. Chris Boucher, I'm an alcoholic. 12 traditions. 1, our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends upon AA unity. 2, for our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God as he may express himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants, they do not govern. 3, the only requirement for AA membership is a desire to stop drinking. 4, each group should be autonomous except in matters affecting other groups or AA as a whole. 5, each group has but one primary purpose, to carry its message to the alcoholic who still suffers. 6, an AA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend the AA name to any related facility or outside enterprise, lest problems of money, property, and prestige divert us from our primary purpose. 7, every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. 8, Alcoholics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers. 9, AA as such ought never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve. 10, Alcoholics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues, hence the AA name ought never be drawn into public controversy. 11, our public relations policy is based upon attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and film. And 12, anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities.
We ask Sean to come up to do the chips. Sean?
Sean. I'm an alcoholic. And this group has a tradition on handing out chips for various lengths of sobriety. So if you got it, come up and get it. And the first chip we hand out is it's a silver chip for 24 hours. All right. We got Sasha, and we got Danny. I'm sorry, I didn't ask your name. What's your name? Tim. Tim, and that's Tim, everybody. Next chip we hand out is a red chip for 1 month. And we got the beige chip for 2 months. And that's Jen, everybody. And the next one we hand out is green for 3 months. And then we got blue for 6. All right. And that's Eric, everybody. Likes to do the sanitation. And then we have a purple chip for 9 months. And then we have a red poker chip for 1 year. And then we flip it over for multiples. 13, nice, Richard. And that's Richie with 13 years. Thanks, everybody.
All right, can we bring up the main speaker is going to be Eugene, Clearwater.
Wow, this was well worth the ride. Nice looking group here. Beautiful meeting setup. So you can see I'm trying to pick up brownie points right off the bat, right? Hi everybody, my name is Eugene and I am a grateful recovering alcoholic. Hello everybody. Yeah, I'm always amazed whenever I introduce myself like that because I remember the first time I heard that, I thought, really? Are you really grateful? You know? And for those of you who've picked up a chip tonight with 6 months or less, you will be amazed. I promise you, you will be amazed before you're halfway through. Just keep coming back. August the 12th, 1998, I crawled out of a cardboard box where I had been living homeless for 8 years in downtown Tampa. And before I go any further, I want to explain my cardboard box because I don't want y'all thinking that I was really skid row. My cardboard box was one of those double corrugated refrigerators. If I fold my legs just a little bit, I had plenty of room. It came with a carpet, and I had cut me a little hole in there because I was smoking then and let the smoke out. I had the best box among the homeless. I took pride in my box. I had to hide it when I went to day labor during the day because somebody would steal my box. Put a lot of pride into that box. It would last through many rains, and I took a lot of pride in that box. Today, I live in a condo, and I have carpet. But I did not have to cut the windows. They came with the windows. And I'm very grateful. Bronwyn has said that that usually the rule in my house is that I talk the little and she talk the more. And we have a happy home there because I'm comfortable with that. And she has just stopped smoking. We're working on it, one day at a time. August 12, 1998, I crawled out of a cardboard box. And I had a thought that day that I had never had before. Before then, I always had thoughts about, what I needed in order to get straight. The right job, the right wife, or get rid of the white wife, right? The job, the car, if I could get the promotion, if I could do this, if I could get that, then I could get it all together, If I could get off of this, if I could get off of that. My drug of choice was more. I didn't care what it was, as long as I get more of it. When I sat down in front of something, I started calculating so that I could get the most of it, And that's the problem, So on that day, I woke up with a thought that I had never had before. And the thought was that, you know what? I needed to change my life. Now, I know that had to be God-centered. Because as I said, I was the king of rehabs. I was in and out of so many rehabs, and I'm from just south of Massachusetts, a little place called Virginia. and I was the king of rehabs. I was so known from all of the local rehabs that I would come in, and after they would give me a week or two to clean up, and then I would be like an acting counselor, counselor. New guys would come in and they would put them with me so I could teach them the rules and regulations and stuff like that, And there was a period of time when I took pride in that. Yeah, I'm somewhat of a counselor in here. You got any cigarettes? But I rolled, that's how I rolled in that time, and it was pretty, pretty awesome. And it wasn't because I did not want sobriety, because I did, I used to make those foxhole prayers, and I used to pray, and my life was miserable. I was living from day to day, minute to minute, and I was not a happy counter. Penitentiary, I've been to penitentiary 3 times. I've spent 13 years of my life incarcerated, and that's not counting the different rehabs. I was on a first name basis with all of the sheriff department. I was so endeared that I would be in jail, and when the sheriff department had their annual picnic, they would give me furlough so I could go cook at the grill for them. And there was a time when I thought that was okay. I thought that was okay. But my spirit was torn apart. I cried at night. I would ask myself, why me? How can I get out of this? I would go into rehabs or I'd be incarcerated and I'd make them plans. I'd make those promises. I set them goals. And while I was incarcerated or in rehab, I was a soldier. Like I said, I was counted as one of the best participants or one of the best people in there because I followed the rules. But I hit the street, and the first thing I want to do is celebrate how good I had been. And I would tell myself this lie, and I fell for this lie every time. I'll know when I'm getting over the hook, and I'll be able to stop. And I crossed that line every time, and then I would wake up saying, what happened? What happened to me? On August the 12th, 1998, when I woke up in that cardboard box and I had the thought that I needed to change my life, I know that it was God-centered, and I'm going to show you why. I'm going to tell you why. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and so the first thing I did was I called my vet rep. Well, I wasn't looking forward to that, because I had called my vet rep many times before and made promises, and she had set schedules, and I didn't keep them, because my thought was, I don't have no money, let me go to the day labor work first, get some money, and then I'll be able to go into treatment. But I will always celebrate that I'm going into treatment, because after I go into treatment, I ain't gonna drink no more, and never made it to treatment. So I was not looking forward to contacting her, And so when I called, she was on vacation. And I had a college intern. I was her first client. She was excited. She was more excited than I was. Where you at? Don't go nowhere. I'm going to take care of everything. I'm going to call you right back. I said, okay. And she called me back. I got a place for you at X, right? It's a detox center. And it was about 50 blocks away. And the whole time I was walking, that committee in my head was talking. Well, you know you ain't got no money. You need to go to the day labor first. I've been that road. I know that trick, right? You know. Well, you want to stop in the store, you got to get some cigarettes, steal you some cigarettes. You know. So that's what I was. I was a thief. I was a liar and a cheat. You know. But for some reason, I kept walking. And I got there. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning. I was wringing wet with sweat. I bounced in the door, and I don't know, I thought it would be a fanfare or something like that. I'm here. And I did not drink to get here. And they told me that they don't take intake until 4 o'clock in the evening. And I could not wait in there. So I went back outside, and the committee was right there. You got to 4 o'clock. You can do all kind of things till 4 o'clock. You know? And I decided to wait because I knew if I left, I would not return. So I found a bus stop right across the street and a bench. So I sat on the bench. So I'd been out there about a half an hour watching the traffic go by. And I heard there was a corner store across the corner from the bus stop. And I heard that familiar popping sound of a beer. You know how that beer is. Pop. And I looked around, and there was a guy coming to the bench around the bushes, and you could see the paper bag was wet from the beer. You could even read the beer label through it. And as he came around, the bus drove up. He sat the beer beside me and got on the bus. But my first thought was that God is blessing me. God brought that for me, you know. I mean, I'm going into rehab. Who expects me to go in there not drunk, you know? I need to have that, right? And the first time in my life, I did something that was totally against my nature. I knocked the beer over. And I started walking around the block. I found a grapefruit tree. I got me a couple of grapefruits. I sucked on them. 4 o'clock, I was at the door. They brought me in. I went to my first AA meeting to listen, not to talk. With one of them robes, you know, with the back hanging up. Because I had to wash my clothes. The only clothes I had was on my back. So I went with the robe. And there I was sitting in the front row. And today I do that. I sit in the front because I want to listen. You know? Before, when I was in there backing out of the rehabs and stuff, I went to the meetings because it was showtime. It was time to talk. I wanted to tell y'all about recovery. You know? And I wanted to tell y'all how rehab goes. You know? I want to tell y'all what the rules and regulations are. But I could not tell you how to stay sober one day at a time. And I definitely couldn't tell you how to be happy, joyous, and free. See, I didn't want to just be sober. I wanted that happy, joyous, and free stuff. Okay? I was a happy drunk. I was the drunk that you come in the house and there he is laying underneath the Christmas tree. I was the drunk that you go in the house and you go to the bathroom and you holler, can somebody help him get out the bathroom? Or where is he at now? You know? And I was a happy drunk until those last days, you know, when I drank just to survive. When I was living on the streets and being careful, watching who I was with and where I was, sleeping on park benches and then storefront doorways and salads and going there for my meals and stuff, you know. My father and my parents never raised me to be that. I never thought in a million years that I would find myself as a homeless person. You know, when I came out of high school, I had potential. I had a basketball contract. I was playing pretty good, you know, but my drinking got in the way. You know, I got to a point in my life where I thought that I couldn't do nothing unless I had a drink. And then I thought, when I got the drink, I did it better. I drove better when I drank. I played basketball better when I drank. I got with the women better when I was drinking. Then I found out that they weren't feeling that way. The women did not like it when I was drunk. The cops didn't like it when I was drunk. You know? I never got a DUI. Never. I was stopped by the police plenty of times. Unfortunately, when I was stopped, there were so many other things that I was wanted for. Being drunk was the least of them. Oh, he drunk. Don't worry about that. We got felonies. We got armed robberies going on with this guy here. August the 12th, 1998, I had reached a point in my life, thank God, that I needed to surrender. And I finally understood what it meant that you had to surrender to win. Because all my life I thought I had to hold on tighter. I had to push a little harder. I had to fight a little harder in order to get it. And all I had to do was to let go and let God. Follow some simple suggestions. Join a home group and start participating. Before, I used to join a home group and immediately I wanted to be the president. None of that coffee making thing for me. You know. Today I enjoy making coffee, you know. It's a lifeline. When I was bouncing in and out of the rooms, the first thing I heard that I stuck, and by the way, that was the first meeting that I went to that I was created. When I was in the penitentiary, I went to the first AA meeting. And the reason I went was because first they told me that women come to that meeting. That's the first thing they said. They bring real donuts and real coffee. Well, I put my name on that list right quick. And in the back of my head, I said, I'm going to go to that meeting, and one of them nice-looking women going to choose me. Yeah? I'm going to come and visit him every day. I'm going to put money on his canteen book. So I pull my shirt from underneath my mattress where I keep it pressed. I put on my best creased pants, and I went to the AA meeting, and I imagined that somebody was in the back saying, there go the man of my dream. Which one? The one eating up all the donuts and trying to drink all that. But I heard some things. I heard things like when you get out, go to a home group meeting, go to a meeting and go in early and stay late. Offer and reach your hand out, you know. And that was very difficult for me because I was the lone wolf. Vietnam veteran, I had been homeless, living on the streets for over 8 years. From the age of 10, I was caring for myself. I made my own breakfast. I made my own. I have a single parent. I was a single kid of a single parent. So I took care of myself, and I always prided myself on taking care of myself. And so when they said I had to reach out, that was difficult. When they said I had to call and make those calls, that was difficult. When they said I had to share honestly, that was difficult because I had lied to myself so much. It was hard for me to distinguish truth from the lie. I was my biggest client, you know. I told myself, okay, and believe it. Tell myself, I believe that. They just don't want me in here. I believe that. But today I have a life, and it's real simple. I joined the home group, and I'm an active member in that home group. I don't just show up. You know? I participate. I am involved in other people's lives like they are involved with me. You know? I care about people today, and I learned all of that by working the steps. See, before I used to look at the steps and say, well, yeah, I'm a pretty smart guy. I don't need all 12 of them. I need one or two of them, you know. And that making that list thing, I don't need that. You know? My business is my business. I don't need telling everybody my business, you know. And what I found out is that I need all 12 of them stuff. And I need to, not to just learn them, but to practice them on a daily basis. And when I started doing that, life got better. Things started happening around me, you know. Today I'm an author, a co-author of a book. I wrote a book. I wrote a daggone book. Where'd that come from? You know? Today I have a job. I have 14 years of sobriety. And I've been working at this job for 14 years. You go figure. I've been in the program 14 years. I got a job for 14 years. I travel all over the world because I'm a government employee. Free. I get to speak at places like this and other places around the world, and I get to see smiling, recovering people. People just like me. I get to share my story, and I get to hear their story, and I get to learn from them. And that's a great way to live. See, before it was like, you know, who that at the door? You know? And that was on a good day because I had a door. A lot of them days I didn't have a door, you know. I was like, who that in the bush? You know? I get to stepping, right? But the program and the steps have changed me into what I always needed, you know. I didn't need the right job. Any job is a job, you know. I remember hearing an old timer tell me, I said, well, I ain't got many skills. I can't find a job. He said, well, find a job that don't require many skills. Sponsors always got something slick to say to you. I told my sponsor one time I had about 6 months, and you know, at that 6-month juncture, you're thinking you're pretty cool, you're working a good program, you're getting to know people's names, and people know your names, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself. My sponsor said, I see you've been looking at other women in the program. I think you're about ready for a relationship. I said, yeah, I think I'm about ready. He said, well, I got one for you. I said, do sponsors do that? Like sponsor matchmaker or something? So he said, yeah. He said, I imagine that you're the type of person that are looking for someone that you can spend quality time with. I said, yes, I am. He said, I imagine you're looking for someone that you can go to movies with, take romantic walks on the beach with, enjoy a meal with. I said, you know me, sponsor. Yes, I am. He said, well, I'm ready to introduce you to that person. Are you ready? I said, I am. And he said, Eugene, I'd like to introduce you to Eugene. So I want you to take Eugene on them walks. I want you to take Eugene to dinner. Now, how about this first year you just concentrating on getting to know Eugene and a higher power? And I did that. So I was the guy walking down the beach, Madeira Beach, late at night by myself. I'm feeling it. And I was the guy that went to the movies, and my sponsor took me to a meal because the first time we went to a dinner, and I ordered off of the appetizer list, and I thought that was the meal. You know? What happened was, it was a group of us, and it kind of worked out because what happened was, everybody said, Eugene, you didn't order a meal, you just ordered the appetizer? And I said, yeah, so I got a little bit off of all of their plates, so I got a real free meal. And I wasn't embarrassed about that. because I was among friends. We laughed and joked about that. That was a learning experience. That's one of them God moments, you know, because I realized the changes that had came about in my life from working the simple program of Alcoholics Anonymous. And the program of recovery is in the steps, you know. I used to think that it was in the fellowship, you know. Fellowship helps you. But in order to be among the fellowship, you got to have them steps working in your life, you know. And when them steps are working, man, things are working. Things are popping, you know. I remember I just got recovery and I was feeling pretty good about myself, saving a little money in my bank. You know, people were feeling good about me on the job. Then I got a letter from IRS. I hadn't paid taxes and I don't know when. My thing, when I was in jail and incarcerated, I would always get a fine and time. Well, in my head, it said, if you give me time, I'm not paying the fine. And they caught up with me. My first thought was, well, I'm just not going to pay it. And then that honesty thing came in, you know. And the moment I said I need to pay this because it's the right thing to do, not because I have to do it, it's because the steps have taught me that when I do the next right thing for the next right good reason, good things happen. So as soon as I had the mindset that I needed to pay these because it's the right thing to do, I started getting bonuses on the job, and, you know. I got the National Hero Award, Secretary of Defense National Hero Award for my work with the Katrina and the Rita victims. That was $5,000 right off the bat. So before, I called to find out to set up payment plans, right? So all the creditors had turned it over to credit companies, right? And so the guy told me, he said, Eugene, if you're going to start paying, the moment you start paying, we start interest. So try to get you enough together so you can pay it off or in a couple of payments. So I said, okay. So I come to, so my fine was like off the hook, right? And so I got enough money where I thought I could pay one of them off. And so I called. And they said, we no longer have your debt. We turned it back over to the courts. Newport News, Hampton, Virginia, Portsmouth, Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, all did the same thing. And the money I had saved up that I thought I would pay for one was enough to take care of all of them. Today, I can walk back into the state of Virginia because that was not true when I first got sobriety. They picked me up one day in Tampa for vagrancy, and they checked my record and said, oh, we got a major felony. We got to ship him, transport him back to Virginia. Cops were putting together the plan for the itinerary and who's going to take me, you know. They called Virginia. Virginia said, we don't want him. If he's not close to North Carolina, that's your problem. You bring him back here. Bring him back here. I have paid all my fines. I have a driver's license today. I even have a car today. Because my first ambition, when, you know how in my first year, my sponsor told me to write down what I hope to have in 5 years, beyond my wildest imagination. Because I put simple things like that. Apartment near work, because I knew I would never get my license, you know. Bike, you know, stuff like that, right? Amazed before you're halfway through. Today I enjoy not only the things that recovery brings and living good and living right, but I have peace of spirit. I have a God of my understanding in my life today. Every morning, me and Brown, when we say our prayers, we do our meditation, we start every day like that. Then all during the day, because I need prayer all during the day. I got a committee up in my head that's off the hook, and it's always active. They say, don't do that. You know, today I do things that I really don't want to do, but I need to do. And I don't do things that I really want to do, that I shouldn't do. And that's because today I have a higher power. And he made himself known very, very early with me, you know. I remember I was going to work one day and I went to the gas station, I gave the person some money. I think it was like a $5 bill, and they gave me change back for like a 20. And my first thought was that, again, God is blessing me. You know I need this money, you know. And my spirit was uncontrollable all day. I could not wait to get back and go to that store and get them people that money back. And the moment I did, a weight was lifted off of me. I'll tell you something else. They offered me free chicken for that. And here's the miracle. I didn't take the chicken. And I like chicken. I had to sit there and think about that for a minute. But I felt that spirit. And it felt so good that I wanted more of it. And I figured that if I continue doing the next right thing for the next right good reason, I'll get some more of that good feeling. You know? So that's all I do. I walk around trying to get the good feelings. You know? Trying to do the next right thing. You know? On my office, people come by and say, who in there with you? Ain't nobody in there but me. You know? I'm singing to myself. I'm recalling events. I'm calling people to see how they're doing, what's going on, people that have things that's going on. And all of that is because I work the steps. I live the steps. You know? And it wasn't difficult. You know, the moment, you know, I've heard old timers say pain is in the resistance. Sponsor, you said that all the time, man. I remember when I was early talking to him and he said, how's it going? What's going on? And I want to tell him a whole bunch of stuff because stuff was always going on in my life. Old timer told me, make your recovery as exciting as your addiction was. Well, my recovery is pretty exciting because my addiction was pretty exciting. So I want to tell him about all these things, and his favorite response was, let's go to a meeting. He ain't even listening to me. Trying to tell him about financial woes and stuff like that, and he talking about go to a meeting. That's all he wanted to do, go to a meeting. And I found that inevitably, every time I would go to a meeting, I would hear the answer that I needed. I just had to be listening. You know, I used to take the big book, and this was when I was in a homeless shelter, and I was going to the meetings at the VA. And I would read the big book, and I would say, I like this. I'm going to bring this up as a subject at the meeting. Yeah. So all the way to the meeting, I practice how I'm going to bring that up, what I'm going to say, how I'm going to introduce that, what that means to me, right? And I get to the meeting, they talk about something else. Never talked about what I wanted to talk about, but they always talked about what I needed. They always talked about what I needed. Today I enjoy life second to none. And I don't have a whole lot of things, but the things that I do have, I enjoy and I appreciate, and I'm ever so grateful. I was asked to speak at a convention in, Georgia? 600 people, 700 people were there. Scared me so bad I didn't know what to do. I went out to see where the platform and the hall was. The first thing I saw was the hall, how big it was, and all them tables, and I was saying like, well, I know they ain't gonna fill up this hall. Yeah. So when I was asked to speak, they said, would you mind speaking at a small gathering? I said, sure. I got there, that was a convention, over 700 people in there. I went to the cafeteria to get something to eat and saw all of them in there, scared me to death. I ran out when they found me a Subway. I did not come back until 10 minutes before I spoke, right? And what I did was pray before I spoke and ask God to show me, to share the message that you would have me to share. And it was one of the best places I had ever spoke at. And they weren't recovering people, they were veterans. But I gave them a message of recovery. Because that's what life is about for me today. Living life on life terms. Living a life that I used to sit in abandoned buildings and on bus stops and just dream about. And wonder why I can't have that. Why I can't walk around joy. Why I can't, if I'm thirsty, go into a store and buy a soda. They must be special. It must be something. I used to think they got rich parents. And what I found out that they didn't have any of that. What they had was what I have today. A God of my understanding. A program of recovery that I endure and practice on a daily basis. Friends in my life. I go to work and I don't try to steal time or money or company or nothing. I go there to do a full day's 8 hours of work. And every day when I leave knowing that I did a good thing. I did the right thing. And life is all that I thought and more. I never in my life thought that I had the bicycle and what else I have now? Job near the place I work at. I live in Dunedin. I was living in Dunedin. Dunedin is a Scottish Canadian retirement community. And I walk through there and I hear, "Hey Eugene, hey Eugene, how you doing?" "All right." I'm not wearing down one of those kilts or anything, but I'm okay. I'm okay. Never in my life did I see myself, picture myself there. I have a beautiful wife today. I'm practically a newlywed, so we're working on that. I'm learning again to follow the rules. And we have a happy home because we're both in the program and we both practice the 12 steps of recovery. So if you're new or you're coming in and you're thinking maybe because things work for them, it won't work for me, it always works when you work it. And it works just fine without any changes. When I first looked at the 12 steps, I said, well, I can critique this one. I can change this one. I don't have to do this one. And what I tried to do this time was instead of critiquing and changing the 12 steps to fit me, I started critiquing and changing me to fit the 12 steps. And today I have a life that's happy, joyous, and free. And you can have the same life. Thanks for letting me share.